Alrighty, I got a video here. So we're basically learning about the body today and what the best fuel source is for it. Now, this goes for the brain, the immune system, all the organs, the heart, all your muscles. Let's see if I missed any. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All the important shit, everything in the body basically runs on glycogen. Now, what is glycogen? It's basically sugars. You know the reason why you have blood sugar in your body is to power all these things. Now, why is it the primary and preferred fuel source? Is because it's effective. Every cell in your body runs on sugar. So, yeah, super critical. Basically, the human diet, how we evolved when our brains got bigger, because our brains can chew up about 40% of total calories from the whole entire day, and so it's just very glucose demanding, and the brain just loves to store glucose and burn glucose. So yeah, that happened from us being humans 250,000 years ago, discovering that we can make fire and then bake potatoes and unlock that calorie source, that simple carbohydrate calorie source for our brain to use, our immune system, our muscles, our heart, all our organs, even our sperm cells run on bloody a type of it. So it's super important. Now, what happens if you go on a low carb diet? Basically, your immune system's going to stop working as well. You're going to have less glucose going to your brain. People, when they're on keto, they say they got the keto flu. They can't think straight. They can't concentrate. They have lower energy levels. So basically, if you want to be incredibly smart and you want your brain to be, firing on all levels, having enough sugars really helps the brain, peak performance. I would say definitely drinking enough water as well. You got teeny little blood vessels in your brain, and drinking enough water and enough carbs, it can fire on all cylinders, so that's super critical. Now, the immune system, it just shuts down if you don't eat enough carbs, and your immune system's in charge of killing cancer cells, just stopping you from getting sick, all sorts. All your internal organs run on glycogen. It's the primary and preferred fuel source of all of these systems in the body. Some people say, oh yeah, you can do keto, you don't need to eat carbs, you just do keto, you run on fat, but it's not the primary and preferred fuel source. Just because you can doesn't mean that it's optimal or says anything bad about carbs. It's like, it's basically humans didn't eat keto. What it is, ketosis is basically when you're starving to death and all you're eating is maybe leaves, because leaves can be found everywhere and there's very low calorie. There's no calories in leaves. So they're eating leaves and maybe, burning body fat because you're starving to death. All you have to eat is leaves. And so the body fat is causing you to be in ketosis. So that's what ketosis is designed for, is when you're starving to death and you have no food, and it's designed for you to, still be able to function, albeit limited. You function limited because you're starving. That's why, there's no such thing as breatharians. They're all full of shit because they all eat food in secret, in private. It's because you just can't live without eating food. And particularly the body's primary and preferred fuel source, which is carbohydrate, makes that extremely, extremely essential. Now, when we're talking about the muscles, is glycogen is the preferred fuel source. You can perform much higher athletically if you're getting enough carbs. If your muscles are full of glycogen, you don't see a single strongman competitor or powerlifter that doesn't understand the importance of carbohydrates when it comes to strength and really pushing the boundary, and bodybuilders as well. They're all eating the white rice, and, it creates a lot of power. Now, your heart and lungs as well for the cardio, as well as the legs. Carbs. Needs carbs. If you're not eating enough carbs, you're just going to gas out. Your blood sugar is going to drop while you're pushing really, really hard. you want blood sugar to be super high, so it's constantly sending extra sugar out from your liver, wherever it's stored, to your body, to your muscles during the exercise, you know. But once that drops, your performance drops, you get, you know, you're getting maybe dizzy, your blood sugar's dropping, your legs aren't as strong, you're just going nowhere. You're just doing an ineffective workout. So, with all that being said, yeah, it's just, do you think your body deserves the primary and preferred fuel source? You know, that's really comes down to it. It sounds very counterintuitive. If this is the first time you're ever hearing this stuff, you probably, you know, get constantly bombarded with keto, low carb, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I'd recommend saving this video, because it's very hard to find, you know, critically thinking information like this. You know, I'll just explain, like, ketosis is basically just a fad diet that people use because it lowers their appetite, because it makes you feel sick. It makes you sick. You know, the low carb keto diet makes you sick, so sick that you don't feel like eating. So, in my opinion, that's not health, you know. So a lot of people just justify it. They want to eat, you know, cheese and steaks while they're starving themselves because they're so hungry that, you know, they just want high calorie fatty food, which you know, what happens to a lot of people on keto, they go keto to lose weight, and then, you know, they're eating all this fatty junky crap, and they're still eating too much, that, you know, they gain weight, because, you know, when you're eating fat, 100% of that gets stored is body fat. You know, you eat carbs, the body doesn't really want to store carbs as body fat. It wants to, it burns it. It uses it. Like I said, the whole entire body uses it. So it just gets used up. And if it does try and convert it to fat, it's not very effective. When the body gets carbohydrates, it will lose like 95% of the energy during the conversion process of turning the carbohydrate to fat. So 100 grams of carbs, you know, if it does reach the maximum conversion period, maybe it stores 5 grams of fat. You know, if you're absolutely topped up, all sorts, whatever the hell, you know, doesn't even happen. But yeah, you know, so it depends what your goal is. You know, all the pro bodybuilders, everything, they're all dieting. Old school, it's, you know, just low fat, high carb. Yeah, so just consider them points, see if it's useful for you. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to say on that. So yeah, if there's anything I missed out or anything you want me to bring to light, I can include it into my next video. Leave it here. I got loads of other videos on how to build some serious fitness. So yeah, check it out. I hope you learned something. All right, have a good one. Get out there.
Why were you dehydrated? Why are you dehydrated? Why are you dehydrated? Because not, sir. I'll tell you why. Because you're not filtering the goddamn water.